There's already been changes since then. There'll be changes before tomorrow morning. Yes. No, it is. It's not even final. I don't want to final.
Okay, we're going to call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody to our regular April 13th, 2026 meeting here in Casey. Roll call. We've got Travis coming.
Yes, he's coming. She's not going to be able to attend. Katie. I have not heard, but Travis probably would know.
Yeah, Travis just said, Katie can't make it.
Okay. All right, on to the next. We have additions to the agenda. Are there any additions to the tonight's agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept the agenda as presented. Hi, Travis.
Okay. I should have wrote the
Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor of accepting the agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those signify by saying the same. Okay, accepted. On to you, Mr. Chair.
Very good, thank you. Next up, student celebrations and school spotlight.
So with that, first thing we'll start out with, Travis, in front of you is a document. I have another one to hand out, an executive that is for tonight, an executive real quick, so that's not public information at this point.
Sure.
Okay, spotlight, Casey.
I want to start with a couple of celebrations first. This last week, our FFA team with 21 kids went to Cheyenne for a state FFA convention. And we have the honor of having the champion ag education teacher in our midst today. So Rose, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been the ag advisor?
Well, I kind of referred to this as my longevity award. I think they were afraid I might either die or retire before they gave it to me. So, I've been teaching 22 years, all here in Casey. And this is a pretty special award to me, I guess, because I was nominated by my peers, my other fellow ag teachers within the state. And then it goes to the Wyoming state officers, the young people, and they kind of vote on it. And so I was very surprised that I got it. And I think the main reason I do is because I've had really good kids along the way. And that's what helps making me a good teacher, is having good kids. So thank you.
Well, congratulations. We're proud of you.
Thanks.
So I'm going to have Rose share just a little bit about the FFA competition, the state convention this last week, and the things that some of our kids received.
Okay, I'm going to have Joe Crew to stand up with me. Joe's our president of our chapter here in Casey. We have 22 members within the chapter. We took 21 of them to state convention. We left a total of 4 kids in the whole high school last week. And so the rest of the teachers, I think, owe me a small break. I think they get to have it for a while. But me saying that, I now came back with the state convention crud. But Joe's holding up. We were recognized as one of the gold chapters within the state of Wyoming. We divide into 4 different groups. We have Superior, we have Bronze, Silver, and Gold. And Gold is kind of like the top 20% of chapters that reach the 3 areas of developing leaders, building communities, and strengthening agriculture. And so we have to have a minimum of 3 activities within each of those categories. And so like our growing leaders, we had a goal of sending like all of our freshmen and sophomores to the leadership conference in the fall, and we met that. We did send all of them were in attendance. We also had a big project this year we call our Ranch Partnership Project, where we teamed up with local ranchers and we went and helped them from tarping silage to loading and unloading little bales of straw to docking, helping with lambing, any of those kind of things. And it was just kind of to get job skills, career skills, and just go and help where we could. We've had town cleanup, we placed wreaths on the veterans' graves during Christmas. We had a fall fair where we had all the young kids within the community come, and they got to pick their pumpkins, they got to do a hay maze, different things. We taught them about agriculture. And so those are just some of the areas that we met our goals and got to be recognized as one of the top. And one thing about that award is in FFA, we don't divide into according to your school class, like 1A or 4A, we're all together. And so we compete against all classes of schools. And so that's kind of neat for us to be able to compete against a lot of the bigger schools. All 21 of our students participated in what we call the career development event. We did have some success. We were recognized as the 4th high team in wool. We had a young man, a freshman, that was recognized as 2nd high individual in that contest. We were 7th overall in horse, with one being 6th high individual, which you keep in mind there's at least between 30 and 50 teams in each of those contests. So about 130 contestants, 120 to 150 contestants. And so to be 6th high individual is pretty darn good. Our natural resource team, we were 12th overall with a freshman being 13th high individual. Our livestock, we kind of have a little bit of a tougher day. Market Lambs got us. But we were 22nd overall, but there was 50 teams. So we're still in that top half. So we thought that was pretty good. 19th in poultry. And our poultry team included our foreign exchange student. So I had to laugh this morning at the contest. She goes, Mrs. McGivney, what if I get in there to give my reasons and I forget? And I said, go to speak in Czech.
Nobody will know.
I said, they won't know. I said, you might do better. But she said she didn't have to, and she still ended up well. We're waiting to hear about our ag sales team. I don't know why they haven't posted those results yet, but they haven't. We had 5 of our seniors, all of my senior class get their state degrees, which is the highest degree an FFA member can get while they're in high school. So that's good. And then we had one young man, one of our seniors, was one of 3 on the nominating committee that selected the new state officers for this next year. And so he was one busy young man. Yeah, he did. And then he got to help announce the awards for that. So I'm proud of their hard work that they put in. You know, when we're a small school and we have kids that deal in everything. Yeah, Snowy Range is a great chapter, and they from Laramie, and they win 5 state contests, but they also, their kids, that's all they do. That's their team. And mine are in, ours are in football. We have a football rodeo. He's going to school on a rodeo scholarship. We have basketball, student council. You know, they're in strong leaders in all of those. And so for us to be able to go and compete and represent well, I think we're doing okay. So thank you for having me.
Well, does Joe not want to give a little talk?
He probably would love to, but he got the same thing I do. He says he can't talk.
He lost his voice.
She said it better than I could.
So for our spotlight tonight, our high school PLC, these are our specials teachers, our elective teachers. They've been working as a group to help kids with true life skills. So they worked this year to create a true life game. So they're gonna do a presentation on how that went. So we have Carrie Graves is gonna help present, Dustin Sipe, and Tara Berry. I think Tara's probably gonna run the computer.
You got the computer.
And they have a slideshow for you, so you might need to turn around for that.
So it's like to navigate around. It's like a maze. Did you make it through there? I went around this way.
So one of the fun things real quick too is that we have a history of a real life game like this. I started doing one way back when I was teaching special ed, and then I got together with Julie Opry back in the day, and we ended up doing one at the fairgrounds in Buffalo, and we had all the juniors and seniors in Buffalo High School and all the juniors and seniors in KC, and we did this real life game, and it was so impactful. Once the kids realized about cost of stuff that when we were talking about doing something similar to this, I brought some of those ideas, and then Tara went in and did a lot of work on revamping it just a little bit, making it a little bit easier and quicker to put together, and she put together this killer slideshow as well.
Okay. So great. You want to do this?
You want to do this one? Sure.
So the real life games, and I kind of, as the school counselor and doing the new science program, kind of jumped in when they were kind of planning this already, and jumped in to help participate in this. And it was just a great opportunity to create a fun game for students to kind of see what career they wanted to go into, how much money they were going to make, all the life decisions possibly that you could get thrown at you, and lifestyles that they wanted to live. So how much does it really cost to live the life that I want to live, right? And that was kind of the whole point in this. And so they were able to keep track of their spending after going to like different stations and have those conversations with not just each other, but staff members too, because each station, there was a staff member in each station. And so they were able to talk with staff members about things that happened and really determine their wants versus their needs. Like I had transportation, and public transportation is tough in Wyoming, but we did talk about it. We talked about how you could use the CATS bus or the BATS bus if you really needed to, or if you wanted to move to a different state. That actually is a form of transportation that is kind of huge. And so we had those conversations that you wouldn't think about having when you're just talking with your friends, because you don't realize it.
You'll be surprised to know that I had the entertainment section in my room. And we even had the site plan. It had like concerts and movies and things like that. And it was a big chunk of money per month to do that. And it had all their internet stuff on it too, and different levels of what they could choose there. So that was kind of fun.
So again, these were the different areas that they got to kind of choose from, their personal career. So they all had, based off of their individual learning plans, they had already identified some careers that they were interested in. And so we were able to give each student had a folder, and they had a budget sheet with that career and with the estimated amount of money that they would make annually. That they were able to budget from. And so there's some of the things that they had to take into consideration: what type of houses they were going to live in, where they were going to live in the city, transportation, obviously, used cars, new cars, they got all. What type of entertainment they're going to go, even just to movies. Like
Yeah,
movies, concerts, things like that. Things that they realized after this that it cost money to do. To live that life. So those are all of the things that they kind of had to take into consideration in each of those stations.
And they went through they had a lot of good thoughts going into that too. Like there was some like, well, if the car's that expensive, how about I just ride my bike everywhere? And I'm like, really? You gonna ride your bike in the middle of winter through the snow and stuff? Probably not. Probably gonna have to have some sort of vehicle, but found out that the used vehicle was much more reasonable than it was to go buy a brand new nice vehicle.
Hey, I learned that one too.
Yeah, me too, actually. And then, under the entertainment, they realized they couldn't, which was one of my daughter's first things when she went to college, was she could not go to Starbucks every day anymore. It was weird.
So I brought some of these too, because one of the stations was Life Lemons, and so Life always kind of hands you things that you don't intend on. And so students had to go through that too. They had to get some of these Life Lemons. So I just brought some if you guys want to see what they look like. Some of these lemons.
Legit.
You can pass them around. Flat tires. Getting sick.
That has happened to me.
It's happened to me 3 times this year.
In the flu. We actually in the transportation, we did talk about those Life Lemons and that flat tire on a truck is more expensive than a car. We did talk about that. Those tires are more expensive. Yep, so some of these Life Lemons they had to talk about. They had to kind of work through them and create a plan a little bit, like, great, I got the flu. And then some of them did think like, oh, I had the flu, I'd probably stay home. I said, yeah, well, we all said that too. Yeah, at one time in our life, and we probably ended up in the hospital. So just realizing like that adults in the room, that they can have those conversations too. And then as collaboration with Language Arts Classroom, they're gonna take what they learned and develop a narrative reflection on that. And there's some feedback stuff too that kind of goes into that. Yeah, that one, that was kind of some of the feedback. So we had to do a survey at the end as well, so we can get their input. The one that was really fun was, I finally realized how expensive I am. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Food and entertainment costs a little bit more than we thought. So there was some good stuff, and they like the good collaboration, being able to talk with teachers and other peers about their decisions that they made. So it was really, and it really only took just a small portion of our morning to be able to do that for all 9th through 10th graders to be involved in that. So it didn't take all day, including the budgeting part when they first did their first initial budget, and then when they did the wrap up with the survey. So it really didn't take a lot of time, but a lot of work. These are really fun cards, and there was cards for every station. Kara did a great job of putting folders together for every single student based on their career. And doing the research on how much that career would start out at. There was a teacher in there, that was a little generous. I was like, well, that's generous wage. But it was good. It was really good. There was conversations about that. There was conversations about the fuel prices. So there was things like that, realizing that all the fluctuations, like it was really, really.
I don't think any of them had done a budget before. Like they didn't have any idea what a budget looked like and reconciling it on the other side, because nobody has a checkbook anymore at that age, for sure. So that was very interesting to see them have to just go through and try and do the math. They're like, we didn't know we were doing math today, and we said, well, this is why you're doing that. Yeah, but some of the stuff in the conversations, like I can get 3 roommates and we can have a house a lot cheaper. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't put 3 roommates in a 1-bedroom house. So you got to go 2-bedroom. So there was a lot of that good conversation as well. And I think they really thought about it a lot. And there was a lot of great comments like, hey, I didn't realize how much everything cost. And I'm like, yeah, your parents paid for a lot still.
Yeah. So it's a pretty fun experience.
Yeah.
For everybody involved. Any questions on the real life games?
Great tool you
It
guys.
does sound like a fabulous tool, but one of those things I wish I knew.
You talked about how long it took for the kids. How long did it take you guys to put this all together?
The PLC group did a lot of work before.
6
doing their
months?
PLC.
Yeah.
Sporadically, but
Actually, they started it, so as the school counselor, I started the U Science implementation this year, and they actually kind of started the real life games and some of the tracking of the careers, but what's cool is now seeing that aptitude tests are actually kind of lining up with what they've selected. So it's nice to see that our kids are really knowing what they like and what they like to go into. Because now that the youth science data is coming in there, it's kind of lining up. So it's kind of neat. Yeah. It'll be neat to move forward with the youth science like after the year.
Right on. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take these.
Price up, going around.
Alright.
Losing more than them again.
Yeah.
All right, that was fun.
Thank you.
What about community service? Have we got anything? Next up on the agenda is community service. Do we have things going?
So Travis, not from my level, I know there's still a lot of things you see in some of the reports that happened at the school level. Board reduction.
Just a few little community service. Anybody else got any?
We have another blood draw that we're gonna try to do again on the 27th.
We can work until you bleed this month. We'll push harder.
Yeah. That's something we're gonna try to continue to do every 8 weeks in the maintenance.
That's awesome. That makes a lot of difference in a small community hospital. That's a big deal. Thank you,
And
guys.
it goes beyond, I mean, like I said, my last one went hard in my opinion.
Yeah. For regional, that's a big deal. Thank you, guys. Anybody else? Community service? All right, next up, consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll second it, Travis.
Motion and second, Lynette and Dave. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Please.
the hydroponic grow wall for New West,
Yes.
where will that be located?
You know what?
West.
It's going in
It
New West.
will be at New West. It's not at the farm there because they have a greenhouse.
In the school? So it will actually just be, wow, okay. Well, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what my little note was asking, but I guess my question is that comes out of this year's budget, not into next year's. So, this year's.
You are correct. Is that good? I live in Mills.
Perfect.
That's part of the CTE. Okay. Oh, okay. I noticed that thing. I was wondering about that too. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
It'll go in the garage bay area, so.
Container, top right.
Container.
Okay, well, that makes sense, because in my mind, I was thinking, what wall are they putting this on, but.
Other discussion on consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor of approving consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Very good. Next up, we got,
So Travis, real
Please.
quick, two things. Well, one thing I should have mentioned. So Connie was on the way down and got sick. So we will redirect everything to Leslie if Charles doesn't know, but she's well prepared. She can answer those questions throughout the night.
okay,
All right. And then just as a clarification, so that, the money we just talked about is part of that categorical grant for CTEs, which is where that fund came from. Okay.
very good. All right, action items. We've got policy DJA, but because we haven't sorted out what the new laws mean yet, I would entertain a motion to table adopting policy DJA until May.
Did we vote on the consent agenda? Did I miss
Did we
that
not?
completely?
No, you voted.
I did?
Call for it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm having the same Monday, it's all good.
You voted yay.
All right.
This is the first time I've used these like sticky notes in here, so I'm like, where are my notes? What did I want? And now, see, I'm space cadetting. I'm sorry. I'm back.
It's all good, it's all good.
Mr. Chairman, should we lump the three policies together?
I think this is a brilliant idea.
Okay, so if
motion.
We don't have a motion yet.
No, we haven't yet. We're still.
So I'll make a motion to table policy DJA, DJB, and the other policy revisions until the May meeting.
Very good. Motion and second. Dave and Reed, any discussion on these? We really can't do them until we break new code, so this is kind of a, not much discussion or option until we know the answer. Okay, hearing no discussion, all in favor of tabling DJA, DJB, and the other policy revisions until May, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
We didn't say May of what year, but that's okay.
That was maybe not unintentional.
Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
Can we table it till
How did I
next
vote
week?
Okay, next up, we've got some equipment to dispose of.
So, Mr. Chair,
Please.
I'd like to make a motion at least for the plasma cutter to put that in a Branian auction, and get rid of it. And I guess I looked last night, these other pictures weren't here. Is that all the plasma cutter or is that some other stuff?
I can speak to it.
Excuse me?
I can speak to it.
Yeah.
So that first picture you see would be the entire
We need a
system
second.
put together,
Second.
That's right.
Thank you.
okay? So the first picture is the entire system put together. The next three pictures are all the different pieces to put that together.
Thank you.
So it had been taken apart so that it can be moved. The one unit, if I was to make a recommendation to the board, I would recommend that the plasma cutter itself be put in Branian auction because the remainder of the table needs so much repairs to it that you would have to buy it for parts. Okay? But the plasma torch itself is usable as standalone.
So I think that's what my motion said.
Yes, I agree, and I'm comfortable with that. Other discussion?
Oh, I guess if you do that, you just put you're saying just the cutter in the option, so then what do you do with the remainder equipment?
My question is.
Or can you,
If we're just throwing it in for parts and they want to bid on it.
Yeah, can we just
We
put
can
it
put it
all
together
in
as
there?
parts,
And what
torch,
it brings,
does
it
work.
brings, it's a competitive
So
auction.
they can do whatever they want.
That would be my thing,
And
if
then
they
at
want
least
to
it's
scrap it.
gone.
And since we've gone into discussion, I think that the plasma cutter, I think you guys said maybe the computer was bad. Well, somebody else may have one that has a good computer, but it doesn't work, so
We
I
just
think-
need to make sure that we let Brandon know that the torch is the only working piece and the rest is. can be
well,
considered
I think,
parts.
yeah, he'll do that, they'll say that and
Yeah.
then sell it as is.
Yeah. I think that's, but take the whole thing, some of it goes to the scrapyard, just as good.
The rest of it goes to somebody's garage.
Yeah, that's right. They'll fix it. I've got those fixings at my house. Any other discussion on this one?
Mr. Chair,
Please.
is this typical to take when we dispose of equipment is to go to an auction?
It's one of our choices. We could also ask
It's one of
for
your choices.
sealed bids.
Sealed bids.
Okay. So I guess my question is, what happens with the bid? Like what happens with the money? Where does it, what do we do with that? Does that go directly back to Buffalo High School? Does it go to district or what happens?
That's a fabulous question.
Money for the sale of it, is that the question?
Yeah.
So it
Back
comes
to the
back to the
district.
school district. So probably we'll go into, part of this was paid for in depreciation reserve. It might be a balance out, but it does go back to within the district. I think this was purchased with a grant, correct?
This was purchased with a grant about 10 years ago.
10 years ago, so.
So that.
It will go back into, I'll tell you as a superintendent, it'll go back into some type of CTE program for depreciation reserve.
Okay. My other question is, do we have a policy that reflects anything as far as like picking and choosing when we go to an auction? How that works? I don't know how many auction businesses are in the county, but do we have something that,
There's a link at the top. Okay.
yeah, this wasn't on there when I looked at my stuff yesterday, so.
So school equipment, books, and materials deposition, we got file D in, policy D in.
Yeah.
And it doesn't specify, I don't know, I think it is entirely at the discretion of the board if I remember correctly. Yeah. Yeah, so our choices are sealed bid.
So items having fair market value will have more than $500, which the plasma cutter obviously will. They have a disposable or sealed bid auction or general sale. District can place reserve on the items to be sold. So if we're gonna do it right, and we could put a reserve on that plasma cutter. But that would be up for the discretionary search that we would do at the district office along with Mr. Evans being involved with that, what that looks like.
Have we, ran a fair market value on this piece of equipment?
Yes, just the torch alone is more than $500.
Okay,
So that's the purpose for going to the auction, or sealed bid, or whatever the pleasure of the board.
okay. And it does, I mean, the first, I'm not gonna say contradictory, but when a unit, in the, policy, when unit value is more than $500, superintendent may authorize its disposal when unit item is $500 or more. The board may authorize its disposal to assure all patrons an equal opportunity in purchasing items. All sales shall be advertised in advance through the media. So have we done that?
So if it's if
This
it's
is-
an online auction, they'll advertise it for, no, they do, they advertise for about a month before an online auction.
Okay. And that's considered the media
Yep.
within.
Those advertisements will cover that.
Okay, I just wanna make sure we
No,
get things right.
absolutely, let's not step on it, because we didn't ask the question, good call.
And I don't know, those two underneath that policy DN, you say the superintendent, but then it says the board, so who is it?
The first one is not.
Under 5 or
Under.
over 5.
First
It's
one's
not,
on-
not more than 5, okay. And
So
then when
that's
it's
super.
over, it's 5,
It's over,
then
it's
it's
over.
on our
Yes.
authorization.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I would just like some clarification on exactly, I'm good with that, but where the clarification, like how the funds.
We'll come back to the district in a check, and we will put them back to CTE. Good enough, or more to detail?
That's good.
Okay. Anybody else? Questions, discussion? There's somebody that's desperately looking for parts. I've been looking for one of these for 10 years.
Jake, you said the machine and the plasma torch itself is over 10 years old, right?
Yes.
And it's a Lincoln.
Yes.
Okay.
As far as advertising, it doesn't mean that the school district can't advertise on their website that this will be available at
That's a
Brandon auction, such and such.
Yeah. That's certainly an option. Or any other way you want to do it.
Yes.
Want to run an ad in the newspaper or whatever, that's all at our discretion.
If you do that, it's a fair market value. You're gonna get what the public thinks it's worth.
Yeah, I agree. The auction should cover that, and I'll advertise it too, so. I'm going.
You'll pay a commission.
Yeah. All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of taking this plasma torch cutter and the remaining parts to Brandon auction for sale, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Right, yeah. All right. Next up, we've got the playground bids. We've got bid opening for Casey first, then Cloud Peak, and then CPES.
Travis, I'll make a motion to accept the playground bid from Great Western Installation in the amount of $555,445.50.
Very good. Very second. Second, Marcia. Dave, motion, Marcia, second. Discussion on this one.
I have questions on this. Okay, so this is coming from major maintenance, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, everywhere. Okay, so it's major maintenance. Second, because I know we're replacing 2 playgrounds. What's the lifespan of a playground anymore? And is this on our, do we have this on our list, and so when we replace it, then does it go back onto that list we created 4 years ago?
This will go on, this is a complicated, the question you just asked, and it's something I'm dealing with on that committee I'm with on the state facility condition index. So when we replace that, it'll start its new life. And then as time, the state will monitor, maintenance, and then it'll get an end of life. So that way, when we go to replace a section or do maintenance on it, they'll see, okay, it's 7 years old, or it's 12 years old, yes, we're gonna fund it. That'll go back into later in my board report, you'll see that reporting of maintenance and stuff for future funding. So it'll start a new life.
So, Mr. Chair, Mr. Zink, are we doing this because of safety? Are there safety things that are involved, is why we need to
There's
replace them?
safety issues, and as you look out the window, that the wood chips are gone. It's rusted, it's rotting. Liz can contest pieces that broke. When Jake was here, pieces that broke. The alkali soil has caused rusting. So, I mean, we're gonna go into a surface that's, I'm gonna say zero maintenance, but it's not. It's like astroturf, synthetic grass.
And so there's a procedure that the state has you follow, I'm sure, as to what playgrounds have for.
That's why I went with an architect to help design
Yeah, I
this,
see it
because
here, yeah.
there's fall heights, there's roll-off heights. So if a kid comes off a swing, they have like 10 feet roll-off. They know all the rules and ins and outs and ADA and all that, so that's why we went with an architect to make sure all our bases are covered.
And they'll assume professional liability for that, so that's part of
Good
the
deal,
job.
yeah. The price isn't a good deal, but it's good.
Actually, the pricing is less.
Yeah, I see
than
this,
201.
yeah, but I just mean it's a lot.
I anticipated 1.6 to 1.8 for both of them. We're under on that, so.
Yeah. Positive.
What do you do with the old ones?
That's what I want to know too.
What's that? The
What
old
do you do with the
equipment?
old equipment? Is that just, like, just junk? So,
Because it's gonna have all the concrete hooked to it and try to save it, it's gonna get destroyed anyways. And I wouldn't wanna give that away to anyone, because if someone did take it, put it in their yard and it broke, they got it from the school district.
Yeah.
So put it in the crusher.
So Marcia, for you to understand, the process starts all over again. But that list that we created, majority of that was on the facilities and the buildings themselves. But the state does, that's why our research doesn't match some of the state stuff when they come in and do the, like you said, the scores. And then that's what we're held accountable for. So reality is, both these playgrounds are gonna go right back to, I wanna say the very bottom rather than the top. And it's gonna take a long time, so unless there's something that, was not installed correctly, or all of a sudden there's a safety issue, we're probably gonna say 15 to 20 years before it comes back up through the system of the new resident. So that's why an architect's involved, to make sure we do it right, it's installed right, and also to help John with all the paperwork that's involved with this process to get the major maintenance funding to approve it, so it does take a while. Because we've been working on this for 5 months.
do they provide like a warranty with it, like a?
Yes, I know there's a 1 year
If it's welted or
warranty.
breaking, that's.
I haven't read through that with a fine tooth comb, but there is a warranty, I know it's 1 year, and it could be up to 5 to 7 years.
And Cloud Peaks was elevated a little bit more because their, let's say, platform that you run on was deteriorating. And so that would become a safety issue, so that elevated it a little bit more. The rubber flooring that was out there. So.
Other discussion on this? Other questions? What is? All right, there's no further discussion. All in favor of approving the award of the playground for KC to Great Western Installation in the amount stated in the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. All right, that's unanimous. Let's do another one. Cloud Peak. What is the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the playground contract to Great Western Installations in the amount of $563,793.48.
Got a motion and a second. That was Marcia and Casey. Discussion on this one. So you're saying generals apply throughout?
And it was the only bid out of the 3 that we received that had change on it.
I was wondering how they got the 48 cents too. Like I usually round up. Any discussion, board? Hearing none, all in favor of awarding the Cloud Peak Elementary to Great Western in the amount stated, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. All right, one more time. This one's not quite as fun. Cloud Peak Elementary Sanitary Sewer Lift Station bid. What is your pleasure, board?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the bid for the lift station from Peak Water Services in the amount of $103,398.08. And that will be at Cloud Peak Elementary School, be completed this summer.
Very good. Motion and a second, Dave and Marcia. All right, guys, discussion on this one. We want the sewer to work, so.
Yeah, I guess
Feels
it's
wrong that
something
we should make this happen.
Mr. Chair,
Please.
I do have one question. What, like, where, do you know, like, what in the fail? Like, what was there a root cause? Because like I read the add-on.
Greg, would you like to answer
I
that?
mean, is it like, does it have anything to do with the ground? Like,
No, it has a lot of things that get flushed through that building.
okay, okay.
Surprising thing.
It's not like anything that, okay. All right,
And those pumps
Or
have
if it,
about
like-
a 10 to 12 year
yeah.
life.
And the grinders get tore up, just consistent.
Well,
Especially
I
what goes
asked
down
that
there.
simply because of that you adding the lift station lining that has a 10-year warranty, and it said to prevent further decay. So I didn't know if like,
H2S gas is very prevalent in sewer gas,
okay. So-
and it takes hardened concrete and creates it into a powder. Weakens the integrity of the bolts. Will cause the seal of the floor and the walls to disintegrate. And those joints, they have a rubber membrane. As they stack that, it's 14'7" from the road surface to the ground. So if they line that, it'll keep any infiltration from outside. Plus, it's going to keep that sewer away from the concrete. It's a 3-step lining system. And to prevent, because the lift station bulk on normal use is 20 to 30 years. You can tell this is a school where it's heavy use, the life will be cut by 10 years.
Okay.
Which is
So, yeah, that's interesting. So then with the 10-year warranty included, like, we're covered up to those 10 years. After 10 years, then does it like have to, you say, we have to replace it?
There's one thing that could happen in 10 to 15 years, they may have to cut that right open and replace the lake. There's some rental and big breaks in Conrad. Then interior. That lid may have to be opened up and pulled onto there, put back on.
And the life of the road in that expectancy is also just about it.
Yeah,
It will be repaid by then anyway.
Which one on Conrad?
yeah, because the lift station, you leave the building, goes through a vault series,
Oh,
and then it dumps into the main vault.
well, that explains a lot because I dug into city construction. Well, that's why, and I know, well, because I don't really know anything about all of this stuff, but I'm just thinking like surface, right? And so I did dig into city construction, and I don't know like what their portion would be, but like I did find that Cemetery Road is on the city of Buffalo, so that would anything with that, what you said, Conrad, that would be on us. Anything, okay,
So city policy in Buffalo is from the main line to the building.
to the building.
It's private and it's your property,
Okay.
your deal.
Okay.
Once you get main, if we have to replace the sewer from Burritt down,
Okay,
the city buys that. But from your building to the main is your
Yeah.
property.
And then from the lift station, yeah, the city would have to do it, but they built that, and I'm not sure how it's annexed in.
and I guess.
Here's our saving grace, if that land to the east of Cloud Peak is ever bought and developed,
Yeah.
that has to be lifted. We already set up to where if that happens,
We
and
can,
they put a lift station there, I yank everything out of that hole, fill it full of concrete, and channel it, and it goes to someone else's problem and the city takes it.
Okay, that.
Plus
that
gravity
was-
works for us again.
Yeah, and that's
Yes.
exactly what kind of where I was headed, like not knowing where it would go because there need to be some collaboration between the district and with the city of Buffalo. I'm just saying, like, it's all few and
I know
somewhere,
we'll
but
do
I
some-
get it.
The
Now,
previous owner come to Mr. Oskey and I 2 years ago,
Mhm.
and wanted, what,
$300,000.
$300,000 to put towards his lift station, because he was gonna develop it. We can't do that,
Okay,
but it's gonna help you, I understand, we can't do that.
yeah, okay, makes sense.
And there's an in-place agreement that if that does develop, that the city has an understanding developer will install a downhill system that we can then tie onto, as John said, pump this one full, tie a pipe in here, and now gravity helps instead of pipe lift. We don't need the grinders or the lift anymore.
It goes to someone else's lift station, and
That was part of that
it's
project.
pumped up to Main Street.
Yeah. Good.
It'd be great.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, can I add to the work that John's doing?
Oh,
So by lining this also, the State Facilities Commission is looking at the district with several of our projects. We're doing preventative measures for the future. So this kind of work and the work that John's doing here, not just to fix it, but also do preventative while you're fixing it, puts us in good grace with the State Facilities Commission when other projects come up. So by, there's examples of buildings around the state of Wyoming where they just chose not to fix them and tried to all of a sudden get a new building because they haven't put money into it for 10 years. These are the types of little things when we spend an extra $50,000, which they approved. To be very clear, it's not out of our bank account, but we're being proactive with preventative measures when we're doing repairs. That helps us down the road with some of the bigger projects that come up. So kudos to this project because this is the little thing that's going to go a long ways with maybe some other projects down the road.
Thanks for answering all the questions.
And then part of that cost, there is a bypass into this. We're gonna block off the sewer, we're gonna shut down all water use of the building, because we don't want anything coming in.
Very much
to
so.
fill those, so we have a bypass, so there'll be pumps set up in the yard. We're gonna do our best to shut all water down. Take the custodians to other buildings to shut it down. If by chance something that bung were to fail, and we have some water come in, we gotta be able to evacuate it, and we have to pump it on the ground through pipe all the way to Bird Street to the main. So it's kind of $11,000 in insurance being there, so if I can hit the ground, then we get DEQ, EPA,
Yeah.
and I don't
Bills
want to
are
see
bad.
those people.
Travis, did you do the engineering on this then?
No, this is not my design. I was in on stake in the original when we built the school. Worked on the staking for it, but no, I didn't. design it. I'm not even sure who did.
Jane on it, opposed.
All right. That's handy.
It's the third one at that building. General contractor closes doors, the engineer closes doors, and the main roof contractor closes doors.
And did the city have as-built? They should have got as-built submitted to the city.
I have some.
That's not uncommon, sir. All right, other discussion on this one? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the motion for Peak Water Services in the amount stated, lift station and maintenance, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. All right.
One more thing to add, I forgot to add, sorry.
Go ahead, John, please.
I did a bid exception form, approval form to the state of Wyoming, because the dollar amount was over $150,000. This is a specialized work with confined space. You have to have monitoring, life rescue, air, and all that stuff. There's only so many people in our state that has all those things, so they are not a state contractor, but the state approved the bid exception form.
John, I think you should get a hold of that Mike Rowe, they're his dirtiest jobs, and maybe you'd be on TV.
Not out of the question.
As long as you want to volunteer that day, Dave.
To call him?
We'll see if the hoist works with it.
So just to summarize, we're putting in Tim the Tool Man
Oh,
station.
More power.
More power.
All right, next up, certified staff contract renewal. What is the pleasure of the board on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve the certified staff renewals for the 25-26 school year.
26, 27.
26, 27, but that's not what it says on here.
It does, not on the spreadsheet. The spreadsheets.
Oh.
But I agree with you.
Yes, we do. We do want to go for 26, 27.
We all. Oh.
But they would take back.
Good catch.
Okay, I got a motion. Got a second, Benito, Dave and Benito. All right, discussion on this one, gang.
So Mr. Oski, the side notes on there, on a couple of them, I think that's the way it's always been. It's just for clarification. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I know what it is.
Other questions, thoughts, discussion on this one? We got great teachers, let's get them back.
So yeah, so I just want to be very clear with the new with Certify 81, again, you're just recognizing that we are promising teachers positions in their certified. That's what this is we start looking at the educational silo of what this means, okay?
Still baffles me that we do contracts without hard numbers on dollars, but
Yeah.
apparently that's the point.
Well, we want to make sure they know they have a job. We just.
You're going back. We just
Not
have to
unless
figure it out.
they're just gonna make sure that the money's there.
Yeah, that.
So
What's
summarizing,
that gonna
that's
do?
how public education is.
No, I understand. So nothing's the same here as out in the open world, but I guess we'll do it this way. Other discussion on this one? Anybody have questions? All right, all in favor of approving the certified staff renewals, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Very good.
So Travis, thank you on my behalf as the superintendent, the work, the administration, and everybody done to put that in, so thank you.
Yes, I have to things best to the hands, principals and all. So thank you, we're glad they're here, we appreciate what they do. All right, finally, under action items, June board meeting location change. Benito, apologies. We're going to have to ask you to come back up to Buffalo. They're going to be rebuilding this one.
We'll see.
That's fair.
Law enforcement, no?
Quick from morning. Motion on this one, please.
I'll make a motion to move the location of the June 8th, 2026 board meeting from KC to Buffalo at the administration office.
I'll second it.
Very good. Motion and second. Lynette and Dave. Discussion on this one. We just had a vacuum go by with stuff to here. When the jackhammers are running, it'll be worse.
And that is just because they're starting that HVAC.
Yeah.
Yeah, the construction.
All those summer projects.
All right. Hearing no discussion. All in favor of approving the move from here to Buffalo for the June 8th meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Very good. All right. Report time. Principals are up first, gang. Does the board have questions, comments, anything on the principal reports?
Well, Mr. Evans, you had asked for us to ask you about
Here's
Sherman
the
College,
easy
so
one.
we've got to ask.
So you watched my video and read.
Absolutely, so we want to know what you have to say.
Well, I think you guys know that Sheridan College is moving from Bomber Mountain over right across the street from Buffalo High School. And it's been exciting to be a part of the process of developing our vision for what that campus is going to look like. In our latest meetings, we've given the designer, the architect, kind of our wish list of things that need to be done there. Their focus is heavy on CTE, by the way, but also making it a campus that is utilized not only for high school students and just out of high school, but also those students that are coming back for some learning, whether it be for just enrichment class or actually changing and going to a different degree. So that's kind of the exciting piece about this. The other piece to note, it's not just the Buffalo High School students that's going to benefit. We're going to see benefit from KC as well as Due West for students being able to have an opportunity to take courses there. So right now, I can't tell you specifically square footage or like how many classrooms. I can tell you what we have talked about. We have talked about up to 4 classrooms and up to a space large enough to be considered a shop/laboratory workspace. where it could be flexible. And that's one of the key words that we've been working on is flexible, or working around is flexible, so that we could, whether it be for power sports type program, or a welding program, or a construction trade program, that space could be utilized. They've mentioned more than once that this is the first building on the location. It is an 11-acre site. So they are envisioning doing more as the years progress there. So this is a big commitment to Johnson County. I just want everybody to realize that. Sheridan College could very well say, you know what, Bomber Mountain, thank you so much for the years of service. We're going to spend most of our time doing things online and not have a physical presence here. And instead, they're investing in a physical presence. And they're doing it out of their own pocket. They're not doing it by going to the state and requesting funds to build this location. So that's really big and cool. So just wanted you guys to be in the loop that that's where we're headed. The goal is to have our first classes taught there in September of 2020.
So are they breaking ground this fall, did I hear, or not until next year?
If we break ground, my guess is going to be in like December.
And they'll start putting pillars in. So.
Yes. We've talked about, well, we're doing a site analysis on it right now because the water table, as well as, you know, Dave, that there is, we're going to have to bring in a lot of soil, and we're going to have to probably put some piers in to try to make sure that we can stabilize that soil profile.
So, you know,
sorry, I'm on that committee with Mr. Evans. We've even talked about, like we're doing with Buffalo High School, future piers in the ground, do some forward thinking or expansion of where the main building goes.
Sure. You got the drill on site, do it all.
Yep, do it all.
Yep.
So I'm hoping when they do that CTE, I'm hoping that maybe we can get some automotive and some electrical and some plumbing and things like that we all need. And you talked about flexibility, and so I hope that you guys will pursue those avenues also.
It sounds like they're really pushing, and telling them not wrong, with the medical side.
Yes, CNA is the other piece, and medical. That's kind of something that Sheridan College is kind of owning up and said that this is a priority program. So that is a program that we will see at that site for sure. The others are, like I said, heavy CTE, heavy focus CTE. And it's not a focus of, we're going to get you an associate's degree. That's not the intent here. Remember, if Sheridan College offered an associate's degree to that site only, then it falls under the entire preview of meeting all the expectations for a junior college campus. So as a full-time. So what they're going to be doing is, yeah, we might see an associate's out of that campus, but it's going to be some of the classes are going to be needing to be taken on. Some may need to be taken up at Sheridan College itself. Okay, so down the road, they're hoping to get to that point. That's their goal. The end goal is to be there. But right out of the gate, no, we're wanting to make sure that we put a foothold for people to get into programming and go down that venture.
Yeah, a huge boost for Johnson County.
This is huge.
Sorry, I just stepped out. I put a ditto on everything I just heard, so it's good. I mean, if there is one thing I want to emphasize what Jake said, they've asked for our input. They didn't have to. They asked us to be on the committee, so we have 3 people on the committee. I sit on the final steering committee, so it's we need to be. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Sheridan College could have simply said, "We're just going to do something without collaboration." So
yeah, so didn't have to include it.
And Jake, while we have you there, I just got to tell you, the FBLA looks to me like they just knocked it out of the ballpark. Good state competition.
Just a little notice there. Our FBLA chapter is the largest one in the state, and this is consistently the success level that comes out of that program, and it's because of the hard work and the dedication of the students and the teacher. So, yeah, really proud of them.
So, Jake, help me to understand that. So they'll rate you, and you'll have a discipline that you're doing. Okay, and they'll rate you from 1 to 4 or below that. But so how many kids can get a number 1?
Oh, great question. So when we talk about qualifying, okay, So up to 4 different people can qualify to go to nationals in the county.
So
you're
they can
still-
give 4 number 1s.
Yeah.
4 number 2s.
No, it's first place. It's a first place.
You gotta take it overall.
But I think when I read through those, I think there was numerous kids that in a discipline had a number 1 by their name, more than one. So that
They were
tells,
in more than one event.
yeah, well, they were, that's correct, but I think in that discipline event, whatever you wanna call it, I think there was more than one
More than one
kid that
kid
had a
got
number
their
1 by their name.
Oh.
I didn't see that. I can, you know what, Ms. Fellis, let me ask. And I'll send you an email.
Perfect, thank you, Jay.
What else for the principals, gang? Pull off prom night successfully, no disasters.
We survived.
Good.
It was really good. It was well orchestrated.
Okay.
So I'll speak for Dr. Hanson real quick. I said his report in my report, but the accreditation review came back for the alternative school. And he's exceeding expectations on both his and my reports.
Good.
You want to highlight that piece?
I want to have you push back out there to him and his building. They took their attendance from 83% to 93% in a single year. That seems a phenomenal achievement to me. They must have really worked hard. So please tell them thank you on our behalf. That was very great.
Mr. Chair.
Please.
Okay, so I did have a couple of questions. One I had for Jake, I was gonna ask you the ASVAB versus EU science, but our KC principal highlighted it and clarified all that for me in her report. So the video that was in your report with Kassan, was that basically what?
That was science.
Yeah, so it was what we were just presented in KC, this is, I mean, they chose a life skills game, and Kassan did Ms. Manson did
So for what witnessed in the video,
Yeah,
they were actually going through their U science. This was before they selected what job shadow they wanted to do for the day, okay? So they went through their U science and looked at what their aptitudes were, as well as their interests. And they went and selected their tops that they wanted, okay? And then they aligned themselves to what job shadows we were going to do for the day.
Okay.
So they could have chose it off of interest or chose it off of their aptitude. But the cool thing was that the students were going through and actually working through finding what their high aptitudes were. And they were doing it by actually filtering. So they really want to do something in education. So they started doing the filtering and looking at what that means. So that was the morning that started off with about an hour's work to do that, to delineate where you're going to go. And then we spent the rest of the day out in different business and industry job shadowing people working.
well, it's just really cool to see our 2 high schools, and I'm sure our third is doing the same, but what you're doing with your students, like what works, and like that was really cool, the collaboration of that. And then I see that the ASVAB focuses more on the academic side of things. Also, I had another question for you, Jake. So all students 9 through 12 take the ACT.
9 through 11.
Or 9 through 11, sorry, 9 through
Not
11.
the ACT, the 11th graders take the ACT, but the pre-ACT.
Okay.
Okay, is for our 9th and 10th grade.
Okay.
And that gives them an idea of where they're kind of at. Typically, you can say a student will gain 2-3 points by the time they're done with the ACT. So it gives them, and it also gives them some data too, as to what areas they need to probably work on to improve their ACT score. We do that for freshmen and sophomores so that hopefully by the time they're juniors, we've found a way to make those adjustments for them to help them.
And some of the seniors that want to retake for their senior year have that opportunity.
Seniors, so our juniors will take it now, and then when they become seniors, we have them have that opportunity in October too. So there's a chance for seniors to get another 3D in October, and then typically one of our sites, whether it's KC or Buffalo, we host an open site for seniors to pay if they want to take it in. So technically, if you're a JCSD1 student, you're going to get 3 opportunities at the ACT. 2 of them are paid for through state funding, and 1 would have to be out of your pocket.
But still, 3 bites at the apple is fairly awesome.
Is
That
that,
was not a
is that
thing
the
when I
max
did.
that they can take? Or-
Oh, no.
Oh, they can.
You can take it,
Oh.
you can sign up and take it multiple times. If you really like to take a test for 4.5 hours.
Some have to be
Cost,
like
Jake, to take
careful,
it.
like how.
I believe it was,
It's 80, I think, but you have, it's like in 95, but it's a cumulative score, so you have to. We had a horrific experience with ACT,
Retesting.
with the retesting and how it was brought to light. But you just have to, I think if you're educated and you know exactly how they're scoring you and like it's cumulative, then I think it's the 3 chances for them to improve their score is awesome. But you can only raise your score by a
like on
certain
the process or educate?
I think, and I'll speak from our personal experience, but like I think if you go into it thinking they can just try it the first time and they don't put a lot into it and then they jump their score horrifically or greatly, however which way you want to see it, it can be an advancement or a detriment.
So if you knock it out of the ballpark early, don't go back.
Don't, okay.
Correct, and also if you score super low because you're not putting your efforts into it and then you score super high or whatever, it also can change things.
Average instead of just eliminating.
I don't think they go down anymore. I think they changed that. You
No.
can't go down anymore.
No, you can't, but
There was just from being the school counselor and learning from scratch too, and then having students go through it, my own students go through it. There was a change this year in how that ACT is calculated as well. So there was a little shift there, and I noticed that as from a parent's point of view, and then having to administer it with our students here. So there was that shift, and that kind of changed how the composite score was calculated, is what happened. But still going forward, that composite score, the highest one, will stay the same. That just the composite overall. So there's like little pieces, yeah, there's little pieces. They broke it up a little more to make it easier to take those pieces. And then that national testing site, Casey is the national testing site, and we did that this last December here, and we'll do it again next year. So that's that one that they have to pay for. But we did have a lot of Buffalo students.
You went from Casper around, everybody?
From around the state, really. Just, it's open to all students, so, yeah.
That's kind of.
Yeah. Okay, I only have 2 more questions.
Go.
Sorry. Okay, for Metal Arc, could you explain a little bit the 15-day challenge, the unit structure that you're doing? That sounds really super interesting.
So what the core of it is in our PLC at work that we're doing with Solution Tree is it's essentially a framework for a unit plan. Thinking of a unit occurring in roughly 3 weeks, right? And so you have 15 days within 3 weeks. And as you work through this, you want to make sure that your students have certain markers along the way. So you want to have common formatives. You're going to, backwards by design, start with your end assessment, right, and on day 15. And then you're going to look at, okay, by when do we want to see these things on our way to day 15? And so maybe it's, on day 10, we're going to have a common formative here that's going to tell me this and this on our way. And on day 5, we're actually going to have something that measures these 2 pieces as they build towards day 15. And so you're planning backwards from your assessment to figure out what are those core pieces that we need. And if our students don't have them, question 3 with PLC, like how are we going to intervene in that process? If they do have them, how are we going to extend them and really provide that challenge that they need? so that they can continue to grow even past what the end assessment will be. But what it is also asking is it asks for our PLCs as a team to really prioritize how they go about things, because in different rooms, different kids have different needs.
Sure.
Right? And so you may have a teacher that took a little bit longer on one piece, right? And you may have a teacher that didn't need that on the front end, but may, and they're intervening, right? So you have one teacher that took 2 days on the first concept, heading to the check on day 5, and another teacher that took 3. And then they almost flip-flop on the backside. But the idea is to give them a strong framework to work together so that they're assessing roughly within 24 hours or so that they can also look at their data within 48 hours, so that they can be able to immediately put in those interventions that they've pre-planned. And so that's where you're doing it backwards, so that you have all of that stuff ready to go by the time you start your unit for your students.
Like that. I like the flexibility it gives for the students too, to be able to intertwine in a team. I think that's really cool. I think that's super, it's effective with kids.
The other thing that I really like about it, we've been talking about our strengths as a staff. When you're doing that as a team, you're able to utilize each other's strengths to build different parts of the challenge and to address different pieces of interventions or extensions, and be really purposeful and intentional about how you build what you want the students to be able to experience. And utilizing the various strengths on a team or mitigating the ones that you don't have really helps you be successful in that space.
Good. Thank you for that. Too, I have a comment. Thank you for your work that you've done on the herd, you and your staff. As an original member of the herd, I was glad to see that you're still keeping it going. We had built a small framework when my child was at Meadowlark, and then we had a whole cutoff with COVID, and then things came back and looked very different for us. One of the pieces that I thoroughly enjoyed is because, you know, at your school, those kids come home and they don't remember what. And so we could go to that herd meeting and like, I could listen, like, here's the technology team. They're telling us what they're doing, you know, K-2 technology. Here's the reading, what they're doing. And so kudos to you that you're like really making it a community thing, because we had a great start, and I'm glad to see that the growth is happening for that, because it really is important to keep our parents involved and this community. We're not that big of a community, so I mean, the more we know, the better off everyone is. So good job. And just one more comment, and that was to New West. Mike isn't here. I just wanted to congratulate the board and congratulate everybody at New West. This year is their first class that's graduating, that's been there all 4 years. I know you were here, Casey was here, Travis, you were here. When we put in the freshmen. So kudos to you guys for supporting that. And that was recognized also in his letter from the accreditation letter. So good job, Dr. Hanson and staff.
Mr. Chair, please. Just a couple things. We had some exciting trips, not only ski trips. We want to thank Holly up at Meadowlark, but Ron, the kids went to Costa Rica. What a great time it looked like. And Mr. Hanson isn't here. So the question I have for him, maybe Charles, is 3 kids earned a trip to New York City. Is that something that will be offered every year if they do the work?
To be honest with you, Dave, I don't know. So
You don't know? Oh, that's Mr. Hanson. What a great trip to go on. That would have been fun.
Well, I think when they did the hydroponics plant that morning, they were talking about that.
That was
something that was a trip.
Yeah, the one with the presenting, a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's sort of awesome that they worked all the way through it and actually got to go there and see it.
Yeah, that's really.
when they were invited to participate with that New York works. That's pretty cool.
New York and Wyoming.
Yeah.
There's a match you just can't see coming. What else for the principals, gang? Principals, admin at large, how'd the last set of PLC walkthroughs go? Anybody feel good, feel strong? Excellent.
I'll just speak from an overview. I think the PLC walks are making us stronger as an admin team. I think there was some really solid discussion. I know Reed got us step in on the last part of it and hear the discussion at the end of the day. But from my point of view as a superintendent, we're getting an opportunity to see what each building does and the difference, and how incorporating a PLC in a building does look different. And the fact is, a PLC is different in every building. So as long as it's meeting the needs of the kids. But for me, I think the barrier that got broke was just being transparent. Ron was super honest, had a great conversation, and his people are care about their kids, and there's some growth happening, and we all kind of fed in off it, so it was good.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I had a question for Cloud Peak. So today was the ride cohort teach-in?
Yes, this is our final teach-in with Vaishali, our coach. So do you have a specific?
Not a specific question, just kind of maybe some more information than the bullet point that was in your report.
Yeah. So right now there are 2 teachers from Meadowlark and 4 from Cloud Peak, and then myself that participated in this particular cohort 4. And at this session, it was to do some critique and some vetting of rubrics, and to ensure that the rubrics that are being utilized for the performance assessments are quality. And so there was a validation protocol that everyone went through to analyze and refine their rubrics. And then also a great amount of time doing some reflection just on the journey. So there, Vaishali offered some prompts for where you were at when this began, kind of some of the things that happened in the middle, and then where are you now, as well as reflection upon how all of it impacted students. And then just talking about celebrating their learning in some way. So in the past for the cohort, there's been an official celebration of learning where it's a very public event where they put on a presentation and people come and watch. And there won't be that for this cohort because the original date for that celebration of learning, May 1st, is morphing into something different. And so we'll ensure that we, at least at our district level, have the opportunity for those teachers to showcase their assessments and show it to their colleagues, and see if anyone else is interested in training and jumping on board and being part of the whole initiative.
So the validation protocol for the rubrics, that's something that's a tool that can be used for every rubric moving forward. And got some coaching today on how to use that.
Correct. And there's a couple of different options with it where you have your team go through the validation protocol, and then there's an AI one as well.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I think at its best, you would try both.
Yeah.
And you put it through the humans and then put it through AI and see what sort of, what's in common, what's different, what did people find that AI didn't, and what did AI notice the patterns that people may have missed. It's all pretty cool when you start putting things through some of those AI options, because the more we feed it, the smarter it's getting. And I think, originally when we started throwing things into just ChatGPT, it's all come quite a long way for the quality of a product that you get through using it. But it was really fun for me to hear everyone's celebrations today with the assessments that they were giving. The third grade team's a really good example of how they all decided that they wanted to assess a common standard, but the way each classroom did it was different.
Okay.
But they can still bring their data together because their assessment in the end was the same.
Right.
It was to take this data and create a line plot, and then they had to ask and answer some questions about it. So everybody had like the same essence, but someone grew plants and someone did like a little track and field thing and somebody else did another project that went with it, but the assessment was common. So that was fun to see the variety that, kind of going back to what you were talking about, where like every classroom needs something different because of the humans that are in front of them. And so it gave those teachers the flexibility to create what was appropriate for their class, but yet be on the same page as a team for how it was going to be assessed.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah, be able to be all in the same place in the end and still get the benefit of having these discussions. That's awesome.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
I so wanted her to say, there's usually a big presentation at the end, but their building principal said we don't have to this year.
Oh, we want them to share all of the great things that they did because that's how it gains momentum.
Recruit the next
Yeah, and then the next bunch is like, oh, I didn't know what that was, and now I do, and now I'm interested. So, and that was a huge celebration that I guess I have, that this performance assessment is woven into our school improvement plan, and that it's been a 2-year goal. And so it was by the end, by May 2026, 100% of students would have the opportunity to engage in a performance-based assessment for a priority standard. And we made it.
And you did it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right, David, what else for principals, anybody? All right, ops team.
So if I can, Mr. Zink, I see you guys, you said you're getting a new turf tank robot. Is the old one wore out or is?
It's still going, but it's the first model that they come out with. We had a little issue here, 3 weeks ago. We went to paint fields and fired it up and all the fields were gone.
Oh no, deleted.
But it's all cloud based, so you guys got a hold of tech support. Well, the tech support didn't know anything about Turf Tank 1.
Oh.
So I think it's time for an upgrade.
So is it off the way?
So we're getting upgraded. I mean, the cost is minute. Just getting out of one contract and another one is going to be, yeah.
Oh, is that what they do is like a car trade-in? Do they take
Yeah,
that?
they'll
or
send
what
it.
do
They'll send us a new one, everything new,
Mhm.
and then we'll take the old one and put it inside the crate, and
Should be
then box it up, and then someone will come pick it up.
Because that was a lease the whole time.
Yeah, because that was part of the reason of doing the lease is
Yeah.
we always upgrade at the end of the lease. So that was a recommendation we brought to the board when we brought this opportunity. We kept it as a lease, so at the end of the lease we get a new one. So we're always upgrading through the lease process because they projected that by the time we get to the end of the lease, there's going to be a brand new model that's a lot better. So
Good projection.
So does this mean, it's the same lease, but a different unit, so do we come up with a new name?
Robot 2.
Second this paint.
You get a rename it?
Right.
To rename it.
I don't know. I kind of like Optimus Paint.
Yeah, that's still good.
Optimus Paint is obsolete.
Yeah.
You could make
Well,
this a
that
fun
might
challenge.
Oh, I think that.
is the reservoir bigger on this one?
No, but you can change everything on the fly. You can change the battery on the fly. It has an internal battery that you can
It'll give you enough time to switch out.
just switch out. And our paint allotment stays the same. Everything's new. It's just a new contract, new software.
Hardware, software update.
Because what's going to wind up happening is where it's like an iPhone. You'll only be allowed so many updates. So.
What else for the ops team, Gates?
I just think it needs to go, said Bill, thanks for getting all the kids, staff, and students where they need to be and back safely. That's a huge responsibility. Thank you.
You guys are covering miles and spending time out of town. That's not easy to do.
So kudos to that team. some data that we compiled earlier in the processor, prior to COVID, right around COVID, like when that brought up earlier, we had 34 bus drivers. And we're down right now with 18 active bus drivers. And we're putting on more miles than we ever did prior to COVID. So that team, I'm really proud of them. They're pretty gritty.
Yep.
They stick in there and they're pretty flexible. So they're doing a great job. And that is our goal, is excellence in everyone else.
Well,
Mr. Chair, I had another question for Mr. Zink. A while back, we were talking about the rubber gasket couplings in the piping for the, I think it was for the boiler system, whatever.
They call it hydronic piping.
Yeah.
Thank you, Smith. Thank you, Smith.
Okay, again.
Yeah. And if I remember right, they were all kind of basically they're gonna fail, and so you're trying to just replace them as needed, with the idea of replace all of them when you have the opportunity. Do I remember wrong?
Yes, last month you guys approved that project.
And they all got replaced?
No, it's gonna be a summer project, because we had to drain the system completely down. Ms. Lambert, we got to see another waterfall, right?
So I guess that's my question. Is are they gonna make it till summer, or have you had any issues?
We'll replace them if they fail. to keep school going, we replace them if they fail.
And you did have a
right above the serving line at the.
Nice, right at the kitchen.
Yeah,
But the ladies did awesome and handled it like champs. So.
Everyone adapted, and the kids got fed, and we had it buttoned up by the next lunch period.
Oh, that's great.
Oh. I sort of think the moral of that story is don't buy a used car from Craig. He broke your building and then dumped it on you.
I'm glad somebody noticed. Should take away his access a little sooner, I guess.
Travis, something we never hear about anymore is the elevator.
Yeah.
Dave.
I'll be Connie. That's not cool.
Mr. Chair, I have one question, and this is for technology. Chrissy, I was asked, and I do not know the answer to it, because I'm technology impaired. Will Parent Square also replace Canvas?
No.
Okay, I don't know what either is, just so far.
Canvas
Okay.
is kind of our learning management system, like where you can put classes online and the students can go to it.
Canvas is.
Yeah. And then Parent Square is more of a communication tool.
District. Okay.
So we look at it, one's an educational platform, and others a communication platform.
Okay, perfect.
Canvas is for snow days? Does that mean? I didn't follow. What does it do?
So it's where through all your classes, class assignments, and all that go through. So that's what we do.
So Canvas is like for students? Oh, I was
And
yeah, I was struggling with
I don't know.
Is Canvas? They use that at least at Sheridan College as well. Is it mostly? I mean, the kids are used to it in high school because at least Wyoming-based
They use
university
it in your school.
Well, that's what I was asked by a parent.
continue to use it as they go on. Sheridan.
Middle school,
College.
because it's not necessarily a college training program. Parent with two children in college.
They don't use it. Or some professors do not.
It's not utilized at a college level like we utilize it at junior high and high school level at all. So I have another question along those lines too, because I've started, like, the Parent Square, I love it so far. I absolutely love it. Okay, will it replace Power School though? Cause no.
Rats.
Just want some apps off my phone.
However, we will clean up what goes through what system. But it will, no, it does not. replace
Because you
the
can
student
see the
information
grades
system.
on that, so I just assumed, I was like, oh, sweet deal. No more Power School sending me notifications, so.
So we will clean up some of those things, but it's not replacing the student information system.
Because we have to report through Power School to the state what our ADM and all of that
Power
is.
School is the heartbeat of everything that we do So that is a system that,
But it gets rid of Class Dojo.
it's one communication system, which I know will be a hard discussion down
And remind, every place is remind, so that we're not using remind.
So just remember, we started this conversation 2 years ago with the company out of Casper, did the surveys, and then we slowed down with Galen Communication only this year, doing a few things, but this is some of the stuff that's come out.
And you can go in and select how much you wanna be getting from PowerSchool.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, you can turn some of that off.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, there's a lot I turn off.
Okay.
But I think that's a great question. There's 3 different platforms we just talked about right here. It's not all one. One is a educational platform, that's where grades and classes and everything goes out through, that actually uploads to PowerSchool. The PowerSchool is our main heart of our district of how we collect information and report to the state. So that's part of also that info dash that I showed you guys, where we go back all the way back to 1990 and see class sizes, averages, grades, all that kind of stuff. So PowerSchool is the hub. So it's either PowerSchool or Infinite Campus are the 2 national SIS systems, student information, you'll reference them as that. So those are basically the hubs of every school district where I think it's about 50-50 in the state of Wyoming, who's on PowerSchool, who's on Infinite Campus.
All the way back to 90. Way back in the old days.
I missed you, Steve.
Yeah.
It was 6 years before I graduated, so I think.
What else, Ken? Anything else for the office team? Hearing none. Admin report. Somebody get really hard ones for the business department. Come on.
Just on a side note, did you see one of the things that I've asked John to do, and he's been doing the last 2 board reports? It's pretty phenomenal on major maintenance. We're $1.5 million in the district component project. So
yeah,
a lot of work is being done to keep our facilities up and going. So
The second component.
no, it's in addition to component. Yes.
So Travis, I do have one for the business. So maybe Leslie will answer it, maybe Charles will. So the small schools, KC is funded differently than the schools in Buffalo. Okay, so they have to raise the base. Do you raise it the same in KC, in a small school district, as you do it? Okay.
Yes.
So as teachers get raises, is it the same percentage in a small school funded as in?
The answer is yes.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
So we're all one district, all one salary schedule. Everybody's the same across the board. So we don't have separate salary schedules for KC or for Buffalo. It's Johnson County salary. So that answered that question.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I did have one question for the business office as well. And I'm glad you're here, because I did go in and ask about concurrent classes, and like exactly like the synopsis of like how that funding works. I didn't understand like the coding, and so I didn't know exactly how this worked. Can you give us an explanation on that?
So
Is it dual and concurrent, those are 2 separate? Am I right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we have concurrent, which is taught at the high school.
By our staff.
What?
By our staff?
By our staff.
Okay.
But they're qualified teachers that then are qualified to teach college level classes in the high school. So they get both high school and college credit in our school. Dual is taught in college, but they also can get high school and college credit for those courses as well.
Nothing to it.
So prior to legislation, we were able to give 24 credits per student for free. Legislation has changed, so the Senate File 81 has now changed that. We don't know exactly what that looks like, but it reads as if it's going to be unlimited classes for dual and concurrent.
Okay.
There are qualifications that students have to meet. They have to make sure they have the prereqs. They have to go through the counseling office. They have to have those approvals. They have to pass those classes. They can't retake any classes that they fail.
So we do have a process in place that will need some revamping once we have further defined that Senate file piece of the dual and concurrent enrollment, because it is free.
So Charles has already defined it for us for 1 year, just to be very clear. We start opening up to everybody can have 36 credits rather than 24. You're going to eliminate elective classes. You're going to have the teachers without courses. So until there's a clear definition, I'm just going to say as a superintendent, Jake brought this to me and I said, whoa, we're going to slow the bus down because that was not the intention of legislators. You start opening the door where somebody gets 30 or 40 credits, then we're going to start a reduction in force because you're going to have all sorts of kids taking classes and they're not going to take electives. So you'll have teachers without kids in courses. So we got to be very careful that we start celebrating that we're going to have unlimited courses until we understand the process.
That was my question was there a limit? And then like the funding, like I didn't understand that.
May I have the floor? Also, just so you know, a district just to the north of us, Sheridan 2, is looking at this as well. And when we look at how that will impact theirs, it's going to hurt their concentrators, the number of career tech ed concentrators they have, because that's going to pull it out. Guess what? Career tech ed concentrators and stuff like that, that's also a part of the accountability, school accountability system. So this monkey's with a lot of stuff if we open up the doors like Mr. Oski's saying.
So I just want to be clear to the board. That's my decision and I'm going to stick with it until there's clarification because I know what legislation's intention was. They put money towards it because the junior colleges came to legislation and said, look, we're $10 million short in funding concurrent dual enrollment. Okay, so they gave them money to narrow that gap so we could still have the same level of platform. I never heard the conversation that we were going to open the door wide open and have as many credits. So there needs to be some clarification that comes from that.
And if I remember right, some of the testimony was around that was also not every district had that as an option.
Yes.
And so they were trying to open it up and make sure that every district in the state has also was a further intent of the legislation, not to just
open the floodgates
and have no ceiling.
If they don't have a BOCES, how do they fund it?
School district funded it out of the general fund.
So we front load that, then they refund back or whatever. It's basically like.
We also supplement some of our textbooks and fees and assessments with our BOCES funds, but it's a wash for those classes.
Interesting. And the same goes in Jacob's fine at the CTE stuff.
Well, let me define the way I put it at our Sheridan College meeting that one day. There's no such thing as free.
Well, no.
And everybody's saying these are free courses. Behind the scenes, there's a wash that gets paid, plus there's BOCES money, but that was an interesting conversation where we were at Sheridan College about, well, there are all these free courses. Somebody's paying for the courses, and that's part of what we're seeing here, and what that looks like is, it's a great opportunity through the state of Wyoming, but a little I guess a huge misinterpretation of what that money was intended for.
Bob, unintended consequences.
Which we're living right now.
Roger that. What else, Ken? Admin team.
I just have a comment to Dr. Miller. Good job on all your work with that literacy bill.
Yeah.
Oh,
That sucker's gonna be.
wow.
Well,
Good job.
we have expertise already in the room and we're locked and loaded. We're getting ready to meet here in a week or so,
Yeah.
probably about a week. But
There's a ton
that
of
we're
backside
gonna,
work.
there's a lot of work and also a lot of AI that was used too to help with that. So we gotta have that disclaimer, but.
The report was clear as mud.
Clear as mud?
It was clear as mud. I mean, wow.
There's a lot of,
Kudos to you.
a lot of stuff.
And all the administrators. Kudos, you guys, because.
Excited to work with them.
They make you so proud. They already figured out so much of
Oh,
this in
yeah.
our K through 5. Okay, we'll just keep on clicking button, doing great, and then we'll push it on up for that. They were ahead of it. Our people did that before there was a law.
Yeah.
Wow, I was so
Very
impressed.
In this whole process of recalibration, I mean, Charles has said it, we have been, we were prepared for really whatever they were gonna throw at us. And, you know, we have been preparing, none of us could have guessed what
was to come. And I'm just very I'm proud to be a part of this process. And I know there's lots of you in this room that will sleep at night, but I sleep well because you can answer my questions. And I can answer to the people that are asking me all the things. Roughly. So, good job.
What else, babe? Admin going once. Anything else for admin?
So questions for me?
Go, Mark. Pick on the suit.
Yes, I have a question for you. Just because I want, like, there are lots of changes we're doing, okay? And I know one of the big ones is the grade things, and I want to make sure that I have the information correct when I'm trying to answer questions for people. And so there are some teachers that do like multiple schools, not just two. Like say they go to 3 buildings, or even say the 2 buildings that are not going to be 6, 12, K5. So in doing the bands, I guess, is there a difference if we have a teacher who is in both bands, but is still a full-time employee? I mean, does it balance out still? Like, can we not do that? Can we, if it's
So
still?
here's the avenue we go down. We're 12 FTEs over the model. So by going to grade bands, it forces us to really have that conversation on certifications. If you, and not to say that we won't, 1% or 2% chance, but it's a conversation that's never really happened in Johnson County. But that's the point we're at, because this new budgeting is about more restricted with where we're at. We've also heard that teachers teaching at 3 buildings is not effective. Going between 3 buildings. So limiting it to grade band limits it to 2 buildings when you have staff to start asking about keeping a full-time job. My personal belief is if we don't go to grade bands, then we're going to start having a conversation about, well, you're only funded at 0.7, you're only funded at 0.4, because we're throwing all the FTEs into a grade band and we're going to shift staff. If we have to ask somebody to get a certification in order to keep a job, we'll pay for that piece. But staying on those grade bands, I get it, is a comfort zone that everybody's in. But the reality is, the way we used to do business in Johnson County and say, you're gonna be just Cloud Peak, you're just gonna be Meadowlark Elementary, that can't exist anymore with the new structure. Is it scary? Yes. But is it something people can do? Absolutely. Casey's been doing it already for a long time. Most districts our size have been doing something very similar to this. So, but I don't want to preach to you that, well, it would never happen, because we want to limit what that looks like, but that would have to be a pretty unique situation. And it's new ground, not to say that we get into it and we figure out that we have to do something else, but if we want to stay away from having those conversations that you're only a 3/4 time teacher or a part-time teacher, we have to start aligning our master schedules. People don't like me hearing me say this, but our master schedule 6/12, which is the only way to do it, have to start aligning so we can share staff. The biggest obstacle I've had in Johnson County since I've been here is, well, we can't because our schedules don't align. I can't share staff, so then I'm going to give you an extra staff member because you can't get your schedules to align. We've got to start looking at it. Here's the number of FTEs you have for this grade band, which is elementary. I'm going to use elementary right now. So our 2 elementaries in Buffalo need to start aligning their schedules as much as they can, so that if there is a small class coming up, we don't have to rift a teacher, we can share a teacher. And then we start looking into that aspect of things too, is within those grade bands, we're gonna have to do the same thing with special ed. We're gonna have to do some other things. It might be a district-wide share rather than one person has just been specific to a building. One person might have to move building to building with a student as they move through. So there are some cultural things that we have to look at. And I understand that's hard, but we've been working super hard on it, and it changed twice today. So it's not something that can be taken lightly. Here's my number one thing I don't want to do. In a big school district, they hand you a sheet of paper and they say, here's where your assignment is, you get to go. We're gonna have one-on-one conversations after we are solid with where people need to go in order to, a nice thing about being in Johnson County, my administration knows their team. They know the people, they know some things. So there are gonna be some things that people maybe don't like, but that's a lot easier conversation than saying you don't have a job. So that is the piece where we're at. And so when we talk sleepless nights, absolutely sleepless nights. But you have it in front of you, and I'll be very clear. 12 FTEs over the model with the class sizes increases. Okay?
And that was all dictated. They took our choices away on this.
It is remarkable that I didn't have to come to you as a superintendent and say we need to implement a RIF policy. So very grateful for that. That's the worst case scenario. Next case scenario is looking at attrition over time. Because the journey doesn't stop just with this simple Band-Aid, and I'm gonna be very clear, the journey doesn't stop here with a simple Band-Aid. We've still gotta start looking for attrition. So I'm gonna go into it, I'm sorry, my throat, what's going down the back of the throat here. Is our master schedules do have to align, whether we like it or not. There has to be the ability to share staff within certifications, and that's where we need to be. Literacy and computer science, in my opinion, which the reality you can defend are both unfunded mandates. So these two things that we're coming into are unfunded mandates. That means we have to supply teachers with zero funding for it. So we have to be able to take out of that silo to fund those two categories. Very similar to food service, but in the educational world. So putting things into a silo means we're gonna have to share. And then you throw New West in there. New West, in order to stay there, because we had this conversation before, their district's looking at shutting their alternative schools down now because that funding piece, that's not us, that's another celebration. We're keeping strong. We're not adding more staff, but anytime you move within that model, it becomes very complicated. The other thing that's reality too, that is dictated to us, is the average school size, and I use Jake all the time. Jake, I'm sorry. Average school size. I was telling Jake this at the beginning of his career at Buffalo High School administration. I said we got to stay above 280 because if that 280 triggers another thing. Well, if this legislation it moved the average class size from 280 to 320. So not only did they increase class sizes, they increased the average school size, so when you fall below 320 now, it triggers different things. So in that process, this all comes back to one system that we have to have in place to be flexible. It's a long-term solution, not a short-term solution. It's a long-term solution about how we need to start thinking about maintaining staff without any kind of rift, without any kind of major structural issues. And planning forward. So yes, the grade band is scary, totally get that. But you gotta hear this straight up. Charles Oskey is not going home and sleeping well at night. I get that there's gonna be fear or concerns, but at some point in time, we also have to trust that Charles is trying to do the best job with his recommendation to you, and that some people are gonna move. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some people are gonna move, and I'm gonna also be very clear. Everybody thinks it's simple. Connie and Leslie, they freaking hit me with a bat. No, you can't call it that because it doesn't provide the coding. What we code in this silo has to match what the state tells us. So it's not necessarily changing positions. They might do their same job, but they might have a whole new title across the top because we have to code it a certain way in order not to get in trouble by the state because it didn't come out of the silo. So you're gonna see people's names. So this whole contract thing too, until Connie gives me the green light that says, yeah, that fits one of the codes that we can code them to that can go into the silo, people's titles might change. Not necessarily their name, but their titles are gonna change in order to get that funding. All right, so this recalibration, which I'm gonna put straight across, there are some super good things in the funding. And you can't argue the point, you're getting $1.5 million more than we were last year. It's just very scripted. We do not have the option to say, We're gonna take a pot of money and split it up any way we want. We're gonna take a pot of money and this is all it can be spent on. And then the rest of it, just like I said with operations, theoretically, we're $700,000 short with everything outside the silo. That's not easy, but we're gonna do it, right? We're gonna do it, so hopefully that answered the question.
How do we sustain that though? Like, we can do that for a year or
Another
so.
sleepless night, another sleepless night, but.
We
you gotta
beat
trust
that horse
me,
after we
I'm
rode
gonna
this
try-
first one.
I'm gonna try it again.
All right, we will keep going. Yeah, we were just running the money at the work session though. We're 12 over in class sizes. We're supposed to go to 25 in the K6.
And so to answer that question, there's a couple things that come into play. We go back to legislation next year and say, look at what you did.
Do you really want to do this?
So do you really want to do this? There's the class action lawsuit that's still hanging out there that could bring some of those changes. So in the meantime, we've bought some time. You know as well as I do, Travis, and you as a board. We've already started to work on KC. We did that before the session closed. That motion's gonna go pretty,
Early in the next
early
session.
in the next
I agree.
session. I believe also the grade bands that you guys, that I hit really hard with some legislators about adding one more grade band. That is actually for Maggie's school, 1 to 18 instead of a 1 to 22. There's a lot of people that had a great interest in that. So we can see some pressure release there. You can see some pressure release with food services being addressed this summer through some committee work. That's a big piece that would add some bonus to that. So I think there's some things that we will see that will alleviate, because this isn't just us. I mean, there's a district just a hair bigger than us. It's $1.7 million short in operations. So 1.7, they're sucking all their savings up and praying that how
It changes fast enough.
next year. So a district just a little bit smaller than us, rifted 12 people. Basically 12 people didn't have their contract.
Well, that is the easty button.
That's the easy button.
That's what they intended to force us into. We're fighting that, but that was the easy button. Was just say, okay, we'll do what they said.
But Marcia, I guess the overall, and this is for a public meeting for everybody to hear, is grade bands are intended for us for sustainability and to protect the current people we have in place in short term without implementing a RIF policy. That's the simple answer.
Simple. Nothing to it.
Well, it changed twice today.
And it'll change twice tomorrow. All right, Gary. Yes, that's
Hi, Mr. Chair, I have to, I would be remiss if I did not mention this. In Connie's absence, she asked me just to point out the section that she included in her board report, which was regarding the classified staff compensation report.
Yeah.
Just really encourage you guys to take a peek at that. We've been super focused on certified staff, but we as a district are super committed to our classified staff. And that report would kind of show you where we've been and what we might be able to do. So please take a look at that. The other thing I wanted to mention was that we will be hosting a meeting with classified staff at CPES on Wednesday at 5:30 to kind of discuss those options. If there are going to be options, what it all looks like, and just kind of open that communication up with our classified staff. So you're welcome to attend, and we'd love to see your faces there, but please take a look at that report. And I think it's helpful to see where we started in 21-22 and how far we've come for both certified and classified. But
yeah, no, and I think that's a great reminder of where we started when I first got here. If those of you that don't remember, my first 2 big public meetings or 3 public meetings was with classified staff because they was ready to do a walkout on July 1st. So that's the day I started. So we had some meetings, we moved through that process. So there's always been a focus with that. We could spend all night. I don't want to spend all night, but I think there's another critical component that everybody needs to hear. Every district is also funded differently with what's called a regional cost adjustment. So when we start comparing how come our average base salary has to be $73,000, we are actually having to compete with districts that have to have either a base salary of $77,000 or $75,000. So you're going to see significant different raises around the state based on a regional cost adjustment. That is something I will bring to the table too, because Sheridan County, Campbell County, Natrona, and right over the mountain are all like 13% over, and we're a 7. Okay, why is the guy in the middle less than everybody around him? So that's a component. But on the positive side of that is, I would sure hate to be the district that has a 13% increase and next year they have a 7% increase because they gave a salary at this. So you got to remember, the RCA didn't change for 20 years, but because of new law, it could change every 2 years.
Yeah.
So in what we're offering now, that's another thing. This new funding model gives you an average teacher salary. It no longer includes education, it no longer includes years of experience. So the former model always did, so it always kicked in a little bit more money whether you had an ECA or not. This one does not. This is the pot of money. It goes down if your enrollment goes down. Might slightly go up if your enrollment goes up. But that pot of money, we still now have to guarantee steps and lanes.
By statute, we don't get a vote on that, we have to provide that.
So that's the other complicated part about this. It's not just simply saying, hey, we're gonna add to the base. You just hit it, how do you sustain it?
Yeah.
And so those are things too that we're looking at. What's that sustainability? But what I do ask for your people listening tonight, for you as a board of trustees to understand is, well, why are they getting this? Well, because they get different funding than us. That wasn't by Charles's choice or any of us. They get a different RCA than us.
I think, thank you for explaining that a little bit more too, because that is something that is very confusing when you look over the mountain and you say, whoa, well, I'm here and they're getting whatever, 17,000, 20,000, I don't even know what they're getting, but why aren't we getting that? And that is something that was, I kept trying to explain this RCA, but I couldn't quite nail it, so.
And you have to remember, some of them are gonna give a huge raise because that's how far behind they were. So we're actually gonna give a $10,000 raise and we're gonna be within the competitiveness of the districts next to us, but they're getting a lot more money for it. Again, insurance is different, retirement is different, everything is completely different. We are actually in a better place, and I know it's hard to understand, than most districts around us. That example is somebody who's $1.7 million in the hole because they've been structurally doing things. They have ghost employees. I'll just tell you how it is. We didn't have ghost employees. We employed more people than the model. So those that have been funding less teachers than the model provides are going to be struggling. And you are not going to see the huge impact until next year because everybody's dipping into their savings to get through this year. They're also, the state forced everybody to use their 97 funds to get through the year. So if you want to start really seeing the big impact of things, you're not going to see it. If nothing changes in next year's legislation, the second year of Senate File 81 is where you're going to start seeing the big, huge impact statewide because everybody's using their savings and their 97 funds to to buffer, kind of like us, land on your feet, take a deep breath to understand.
If nothing changes in next year's legislation, can we send the budget down to Cheyenne? They've made all the decisions. What are we voting on, activities? They've already told us what we have to pay everybody, what we have to do it with.
Okay, I have a board that goes down and enforce.
And argues loudly.
And when the board chair is 2 feet above everybody else sitting in the stands, we can say, Travis, shake your head.
Growl.
It doesn't work.
All right, well, we'll keep fighting it, but they've taken a lot of our options away, so we will do the best we got.
I think another thing to keep in mind is we did go down to legislature and we did talk to them and we fought for the state to recognize that teachers are worth more than they've been paying, and we got it.
And they paid more.
So now we got to go back down there and we got to tell them you guys forgot the classified.
Yeah.
So we're gonna fight for them, and I'm positive.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from positive.
No, they heard us last time, they'll hear us this time, we'll keep it.
And I think, Reed, that's a good point. They listened to us, but then at the very end, when everybody was arguing, they put the cap on. They go, well, we're gonna give you that money, but now you have to meet an average teacher salary of this.
Yeah. We'll make all the decisions on how you spend it.
That last 2 weeks when they all of a sudden went, oh, we're gonna give you the money, but we're gonna make sure it doesn't go to the superintendent or administrators. It's just gonna be teachers, so we're gonna cap you. That's my frustration. They've never, through the whole
Always been
entire
wrong.
recalibration, they never, ever, ever talked about putting a cap in. And they took it out of categorical, well, okay, we heard you complain, so we're gonna put it into a silo, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's your silo, and this is how you spend it.
We go from a balanced budget to $500,000 in the hole. Yeah, frustration, but
Positive.
we will fight through this.
We're gonna get through it.
We're gonna get through this. All right, one last call. Anything for admin? Hearing none. Board reports. OCs?
Well, the biggest thing we did is the month before, we did a wage increase, and to try to keep up with other similar businesses around. We enacted that sooner than they anticipated, so good. But other than that, everything's been looking at just a few more policy changes, revision.
Standard board behavior. Good. Vote Chief.
Not had a meeting.
We have
nothing to report from there.
Rec board.
Grants are due the 24th, again.
Grants are due the
Reminder.
24th.
Hoping to maybe get my girl in with me and the board, to kind of go over the application process so that it's very clear for everyone in the schools and we're all doing it correctly and getting it submitted. And so we're not having people, we missed this email or we can't find your application, we can't, so we're all on the same page and we get those done the right way.
Absolutely. Leslie does not want to walk into my room and poke the bear after she did that one. Just email them.
Right up. All right, next up from the board. What do we have from the board this round? Anybody? Hearing none. Next meeting, May 6th, special meeting. Admin office at Buffalo at 5:15.
So plan on that, Travis.
Is this a bring your lunch because they're gonna do the budget?
We're bringing food.
Okay. Sorry, Marcia.
It'll be budget, salary schedules, and one other item that is not quite remembering what it is, but we limited it to 3.
Yeah, we did pick 3.
Preliminary budget.
What's that?
Preliminary.
So we're gonna do preliminary budget, we're gonna go over salary schedules, we'll know a lot more about where we are with the grade bands, be able to have that discussion. Yeah, I know I forgot something, but I will.
Yeah, we'll get it found back.
And then May 11th board meeting. One of the things I forgot to mention is you do need to mark your calendars for April 30th. The Attorney General's office has requested a executive session meeting with the State Board of Education before approval of our reduction from 9 to 7-member board. So I'm working with Niobrara's attorney and our attorney to figure out why that would have to even go into executive. But if we have to be there with the board members, I will text one of you, but if you just preliminary put that on your calendar to maybe attend, it's a drive down and drive back type scenario, but it seems to be a very hard process for people at the state level. Not for us, not for me. We turned in all the applications, so I just want you to at least put that on your radar that if any of you are available to maybe travel, or I need you to travel, I will reach out to you as a board.
I'm going so we can take multiple vehicles.
Let's take Gus.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
The bus.
But it might get me there on time. Yeah. Depends on who's driving.
April 30th.
All right, so May 11th, next board meeting regular, May 11th. We will move that to admin as we talked about earlier. Everybody good? Public comment? No public comment tonight. All right.
April 30th.
Oh yeah, beat right down.
We leave about 7 and we'll get home about 7.
Which in Charles World means 6 o'clock and midnight, but we'll put that way anyway. I would entertain a
8 hours of driving for a 20-minute meeting.
I would entertain a motion to enter executive session for Wyoming Statute 16-405, Sections A, II, and III, personnel and legal matters.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Dave, and I think Benito had that one.